Hey guys, so I'm going to show you how to do the proficiency. I'm going to walk you through all the steps. I've got my microphone. You're probably hearing me in one ear. Don't let that throw you. You'll hear the music in stereo in a moment. I am going to share my screen as we do this and show you live. And the first thing I want to do is create a new live set. We can save whatever that was, and we're here. I want to open the Preferences dialog. You can do that through the Live menu and Settings, or you can just type Command, comma. I want to check my Audio tab, make sure my audio device is correct, and that my sample rate is 48 kilohertz. Then I'm going to switch over to the Record tab and make sure that my file type is WAV and my bit depth is 24. If I'm happy with that, let's save the file to the desktop. I already have a folder called Proficiency Project, so I'm going to just call this Proficiency 5, but you can call it whatever you like. Now, I want to make sure I'm in the session view, so I have the vertical channels as opposed to the horizontal tracks. I want to enable the metronome. And if you click on the arrowhead, you can ensure that the counting is set to 1 bar. And for this project, we're going to type 88 into the BPM, the tempo, and that will be our tempo. Make sure you hit enter when you are done. Now I have 2 audio tracks that I do not need. I'm just going to highlight them and delete them. And using Shift Command T, add a MIDI track. You can also do the same thing from the menu here. You can even right click to add a MIDI track. So a couple different ways to do that. And let's take a moment to label these. So I'm going to type hashtag drums. The reason that I'm typing the hashtag bass, is so that if I change the track order, I'll have the track number in the proper order. Let's go here, and the hashtag will be pad, and then the last track, rename Command R, hashtag melody. Okay, I've got my tracks. I don't have any sounds on these tracks yet, so let's start by adding a drum rack. You can just drag and drop the drum rack over here from the instruments folder. You can also do it from the drum folder, and you can either drag it to the bottom like so, that'll work, or you can drag it up to the track name. Now I have some drum hits, and we're going to build our own drum kit here. So let's open that up, and I'm going to choose a kick. 70s kick number 2 is pretty nice. Let's find a snare drum. Now I have a snare drum I like. That one's fine. I'm going to drag that to D1. And I've got my launch pad triggering these right now. So all set to go. I have some hi-hats. I'll choose this hi-hat here and drop it on F1. And that's a closed hi-hat. We'll go to an open hi-hat. And I have a nice acoustified open hi-hat. We'll drop that on a sharp 1. And the last sound I need is a cymbal, and we'll choose any crash. That will work just great. I'm going to drop that there. The one other thing I want to just take a moment to do is I'm going to bring out on my closed hi-hat, I'm just going to set the open and closed hi-hat to choke. That means when I play an open hat, I can shorten it with the closed hi-hat. So I'm feeling pretty good about my sounds. My track 1 is in record ready. I'm going to go and record into slot 1. By clicking on it, I'll hear 1 bar of count off, and I'm going to play a kick and snare pattern. and I played a little 2-bar pattern. We can see that here, and I want to just select all the notes, and I want to adjust the quantize settings. So Shift Command U, and make sure this is for this operation set to 16th, and I want to adjust the amount until I get about 80%. And let's play that. That one kick sounds a little late. I'm going to lay it in here. And let's try that. Much better. Okay, I like that. And I'd like to add hi-hats. So to do that, it's very important that I put the overdub button on, this little plus sign. And so let us record with the session record button into the same highlighted clip. Okay, I got a little funky there for a moment, but let's now quantize this also to the 16th note. I think this one was a little early. We'll move it over to here. All right, and now I am happy with the hi-hat. I no longer need to hear the metronome, so I'm going to turn that off. Now, I want to duplicate this clip, so I highlight the clip, and I have a duplicate command. I can also type Command D. I can also Option drag. I can copy and paste. I'm going to keep this bottom clip the same, but on the top clip, I'm going to enter draw mode, which I can do by clicking on the pencil or by typing B. And I'm going to just draw in a crash cymbal on beat 1. Let's hear that clip. That's good. If I really wanted to make this more realistic, let me come out of draw mode. Let me pull out this downbeat hi-hat, because a drummer would play the crash with the same hand that they're playing the hi-hat. So I'm pretty happy with that. Once again, so I have a version with the crash cymbal and the downbeat, and I have one without. And it just has a hi-hat on the downbeat, hi-hat and kick. Great. So I have these two patterns. I'm going to hold one, shift, click on the other, select them both, and I'm going to drag them using Option. So the Option drag method to duplicate, and we'll put that into 3 and 4. Now on this one, I want to create some open hats, and I'll do this by taking the one on beat 3, the second half of beat 3 in both bar 1 and bar 2, and make those open hats. This one chokes a little soon, so I'm just going to get rid of that extra hi-hat. Nice. And we'll do the same thing on pattern 4, and I'll just drag this up, delete this extra hi-hat, and drag this one up from closed hat to open hat. We'll hear that too. Good. And now I want to take this clip and duplicate it into slot 5. We're going to make a couple changes here. On beat 3, I'm going to throw a kick on the downbeat, and we'll just get rid of everything after beat 3. So here's the pattern. It will stop on beat 3 of bar 2. And let me add in some snares. Now I notice my grid is kind of wacky here. For this, probably 16th note is the right grid. So let me go to draw mode, and we'll draw in a couple of snares. And here's my new fill. Good. You know, that snare sounds a little soft, so I'm just going to take a moment, double click on the track, go to the snare, and we'll just bring its volume up a bit. And I'm going to bring the drums down overall because I see I'm clipping a little. Good, pretty happy with that. Now, I want to go to the first track. And right now I have over here my start point and looping and, you know, the length and all that. I have notes on the right. But I want to switch this to follow action. I'm going to turn follow action on. And I'm going to have it go to the next clip 100% of the time after it plays one time. So here's what will happen when I launch the drums. It's going to immediately get the next clip queued up and then switch to it. So I should hear the crash, and I do. But when it goes to the second clip, no crash. And I'm going to do the same thing with clip 3. Turn on follow action, next, 100%, one time. And so, again, with the crash, and without the crash. I notice my crash is a little low too, so I'm going to just pick that up and give its volume a little goose as well. All right, I would like to insert an empty clip here. You can do that in the Create menu. You can use the shortcut Command-Shift-M, but I'm just going to right-click to insert an empty clip. And very important, I want to go to my length of my clip and set it to match the drums, 2 bars. Now let's go open the original clip, and I'm going to turn off draw mode by hitting B. I'm going to go and select just the kick notes, copy them, and then go into my empty bass clip. I'm going to click on bar 1, beat 1, and paste. Now if I've done that right, I should hear bass and kick together. Oh, I don't have an instrument, so let's put an instrument in. How silly of me. So let's go here first and grab a bass instrument. And for this, I'm going to use Simpler. And in the bass folder, there's this 8 bass, which is pretty nice. We'll drop that there. Nice. Now, I want to rename this clip Bass 1. And let me double click on it. Right now, the notes are all on C, but I would like to transpose them down to A0. They're already highlighted. If for some reason your notes are not highlighted, highlight one and type Command-A to select all. Now I'm going to duplicate that clip. Again, Option drag into scene 3. We're going to rename this clip Bass 2. And it's identical, except I'm going to now change a couple notes here. So let's make this note C. Let's make this note E. And maybe C again and E again. And then we'll make this C one more time. And C and E. So let's hear that. It's nice. Okay, so that'll be my second bass pattern. Great. So the next track we're going to go to is pad. And I would like to get a good pad sound, and you can find that in various places. I chose Analog's glass string low pad, so in the pad folder, low strings, and we'll drop that here. So I've got my 3 notes for an A minor chord, and I'm going to do that on scene 3, so here I go. So I'm recording. I'll record 4 bars. Nice. Let's just make sure that our clip is exactly 4 bars long, and it is. So we're good to go there. And now the last thing I need is a melody, and you can use any kind of sound for that. I'm thinking maybe something that will cut through the mix a little bit. So I'm going to go to my piano and keys. That was pretty nice. We'll take that, and I'm going to drop that onto the melody track. And I've got my notes in the key of C. Ready to go. I'm going to record on scene 1 an 8-bar melody. It's lovely, and I'll take a moment to quantize it. This one can be quantized to 8th note because I'm not really doing any 16ths here, and that's perfect. Let's go and record another melody for the chorus. I played better than that, but other than a couple of bad notes, we got something that's okay. I know the bad notes because they should all be on the white spaces. And if they are not, they are bad. So looking pretty good. Let's play that just to hear it. Oh, I'm short a bar, so let's make sure that the length is 8. And we'll just make that note a little bit longer. And it should end. Love it. So I've got all 4 of my tracks now. We're ready to go. One more thing that we need to do. And I neglected to do this on the drum track. But on this fill, I'm going to name my scenes. We'll rename them. So we'll call scene 1 verse. We'll call scene 3, rename, Command R, chorus. And then I've got down here, we're going to rename this core fill. That's going to be my fill. Now, I have one little problem here, which is that if I'm playing my chorus and I launch the drum fill, it cuts off the bass, pad, and melody. And the reason for that is because I've got these square stop buttons on scene 5. So I have a couple of ways I can get rid of them. I can go and remove the stop button. I can use the shortcut with Command E, or I can right click to remove the stop button. Now when I play the chorus and I launch the drum fill, the other tracks keep playing. So I'm ready to go. Now I have a launch pad here, so I can actually launch my session without having to use the mouse, but it's the same thing as if you were to go and click on these things here. So I would like to start with turning the master stop button to make sure there are no clips playing. And I want to just launch this clip on scene 2 on the drums and stop. Now the scene 2 drums does not have the crash on the downbeat. I'm going to double click on the stop button and that will send my arrangement counter back to bar 1. The moment I hit record with the arrangement record, not the session record, but the arrangement record, we'll hear drums. And after 4 bars, I'm going to launch the bass clip. So let's do that. Here we go. 1, 2. I'm just looking here. When I get to bar 4, I will launch the bass clip anytime in bar 4. Now I have drums and bass. We'll do 4 more bars until we get to bar 8, and I'm going to launch the whole verse. And because I'm set to 1 bar here, able to make sure everything stays synced. Let's take a look at where we are in the melody. When I get to bar 8, come on baby, you can do it. I'm going to launch the chorus. And in bar 6, I'll launch the fill. And I'll stop. So I should be stopping at bar 41 or so. And if I've done all that correctly, I realize I have a bad note here somewhere, but yes, there it is. We can fix that right now. But I've recorded it with a bad note, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, if I go and hit tab to the arrangement, I see I have the back to arrangement button. I can also find that here on the master track in the session view. Let's click on that, and that will make my notes look nice and vivid and bold. And the one other thing I need to do to fix the arrangement is I want to, zoom in. I played a couple of extra notes. So we can just take this and shorten it so I just have a downbeat, and if I play a couple bars of that, and there we go. The one other thing that we want to do in this window is I want to now add a location, and that's a pretty easy thing to do. So we'll go to this timeline up here. We'll click on bar 9. We will right click and add a locator, and I'm going to just call this verse 1. And then finally save my file. If you've done that all correctly, you'll have your bass drum start first. We'll add the bass at bar 4. We'll hear the crash cymbal at the locator, verse 1. And then it will go verse, chorus, and then the final downbeat. And there you have it, all set. So I hope that was helpful, and we went through all the steps together, and just give it a practice. The actual proficiency that you get is going to be a little shorter than that. I'll take out some steps to make it a little quicker to do for us, but you should be able to do all the steps that are in there. So make sure you practice. All right, guys.